Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here. Welcome to 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest today is Andrea Pflaumer. Andrea is a blogger. She writes about fashion, style, and the arts from Northern California. And I'm really happy to have her here because she knows more than I do about fashion for over 50 women and has a wonderful book called Shopping for the Real You. So welcome to the show, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Margaret, for having me. This is a real pleasure.
I am so excited to talk to you because one of the things our community really does care about, contrary to myths that go around in the world, is that we do care about what we look like and we care about clothing and our appearance. So I'd love to ask you some questions about the kind of misconceptions that older women have about what they can do with fashion and what they can't. So, kind of the myths, the challenges that we that we think we face.
Well, there are some real challenges. One is gravity.
That's a very good one. Yes, it's true. It's a big challenge.
Right.
My face experiences that every day.
And my smiling. So there are changes that happen in our bodies, and I think that it ties it. It's two questions, and one is that our bodies are changing. Maybe our midsection is getting a little wider than it was. Things aren't as perky as they once were. And so what happens as a result of that is that we tend to pull back. We tend to disengage a little bit in the world. And that ties in with some myths that I think are big mistakes, which is that we don't get noticed. It's just not true. We do get noticed, and we do express something when we present our public face. So it behooves us to present the best face that we can. This whole concept that, well, it doesn't matter so much anymore, I don't really care. There are two things about that. First of all, I always like to quote the Dalai Lama because when
That's an expert, he is.
Why not? Fashion expert. When he was about to be installed as the 14th leader of the head of Tibetan Buddhism, even he admits that his first thought was, I wonder how I'm going to look in those robes.
That's so true, Andrea, though, that we really do make that assumption. And then that really does impact the decisions that we make about what clothes we wear.
Absolutely. And it's sort of like a feedback loop. What we wear has an effect on how we feel. This is the thing, not only is gravity and our bodies changing, affecting the way we look, but there's sort of an attitude that we have that it doesn't matter. And the reality is that as we get older, not only do things change in our bodies, but our lives are changing.
Yes.
And we don't like to go in this direction, but it is a fact that we lose friends, partners. We have our own challenges, health, emotional challenges, monetary challenges. There's always going to be those things that happen, and they bring us down. And it's interesting to use that word down, the gravity effect. But I guarantee you that regardless of how intense things are going on in your life, if you get up in the morning and put something on your face to make you feel better and wear something that makes you feel uplifted, here's that word, uplifted, I guarantee you that no matter how bad things are, if you pass a mirror and you catch a glimpse of yourself, you'll think, things aren't so bad. I look pretty darn good today.
That is such a great phrase, actually. I mean, to look pretty darn good for you. I mean, I look at myself in the mirror sometimes and I go, oh my gosh, what happened? And then you just smile and then suddenly the wrinkles blend into the smile lines and you realize all those smiles came from experience and life magic that has happened to you. But I think you're absolutely right, though, and this seems to me to be the contradiction, that women over 60 do tend to say, I really don't care what people think anymore. I can't be judged anymore. I've already gone through that. And so I'll wear whatever I like. I'll be comfortable. And that's the phrase. But somehow equating comfortable with not looking good, which is not true. You can still look great in comfy clothes and shoes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for comfort. The particular style facets that I have, we'll talk about those another time, but lean toward comfort. So comfort is always my first concern. But you don't have to be sloppy, and you don't have to give up. And if you're feeling comfortable in your clothes, but they also make you feel happy, and you're expressing a part of yourself that's always been a consistent thread in your life,
yes,
then you're still moving forward.
Yeah.
Life is a gift. And everything in it is a gift to us, either to learn or to accept or to grow with. And it requires movement, it requires growth. So instead of just falling back and letting go, if we say, okay, there's this challenge now, where is this taking me?
Yeah.
And what good part of it can I express through what I wear?
Yes.
The reality is within the first, I think the statistics are within the first 7 seconds of meeting somebody, they form an opinion about you.
I know. It's human nature, isn't it? It's exactly. But I think what you're saying is really wonderful. I'm listening to you here, Andrea, and I can hear more conversation about mindset and psychology of growing older than I do about clothing. I mean, clothing is just the shell. It's just the expression. It's the voice in a way, which is great. I mean, and we need to have a voice. But I think it's really powerful that you're talking about it, style holistically. So I like that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the way I approached all the things that I wrote in my book, Shopping for the Real You. And that has to do with, we have a personality, we have certain facets of who we are. And they don't really change all that much as we age. Our fundamental coloring, unless we're going through some health challenge, our fundamental coloring doesn't change all that much.
Right.
And our personal style, we have different facets of our personality. It's a very rare individual who is, sort of a mono style. I mean, I'm thinking of a handful. Grace Jones is one who's just, she's almost all dynamism. She's almost all drama. But most of us are combinations of facets. Yeah. And what's fun about that as we get older is that we can play with different facets of who we are through our attire at different times. So if sometimes we're feeling that we want to be a little more sophisticated, then we can play that up a little bit.
Yeah, that's freedom.
Yeah. If you wake up one morning and you feel sort of the way you did when you were 15. Now, you're not going to dress the way you did when you were 15, but maybe there's some element of that high-spirited quality or that romantic quality or that youthful quality that you want to play up. Go for it. Why not?
I think that's really true. And a lot of women do develop like signature looks that they start to associate with their age. So for example, necklaces. I never really wore funky necklaces, big necklaces. I would wear pearls. But now I use my necklaces really as a way of expressing, just my childlike, my playfulness, because sometimes I wear crazy ones and they don't even really, they're not appropriate, but they're just fun. So I think that's true. But we're talking about challenges. So you said gravity was one challenge. And the second challenge is mindset, would you say, or just your attitude to your...
Well, gravity and the shape of our body is realistically, we have to pay attention to emphasize what the whole point of dressing as at any age is to bring the awareness up to the face. And so that's where mindset comes in, because you want to make sure that what you're expressing is a positive expression. And that comes with mindset. So many of the things that you talk about, so many of the people that you interview on your show have to do with how we stay engaged in life. And that's what shows up. If there are so many blogs these days about the fashion and style of older women in France or Italy.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing they always talk about is that for French men, it really doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is how aware you are, how much you're involved with philosophy, with what's going on in your world.
Mm-hmm.
If you learn a new language that excites parts of your brain that keep you enlivened, and all of that gets expressed. I really think that our attire and what we wear is just sort of icing on the cake of what's going on the inside.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really valuable way to look at style and fashion. I'm really glad that we've started there, because we're going to do some other conversations about more specific things around fashion, color, and design, and so on. But I think to start off with that conversation that, there's challenges we face, of course, our bodies, as you say, and our mindset. And what was the first thing? Our gravity. Gravity. And those are real, in quotes, challenges, but they're also opportunities to push your personality through, and right. Just to define who you are. So what are some things that we may think are challenges, but are not?
Well, the first one is to think that we don't matter. I think that's an unfortunate mindset that's been perpetuated mostly in I hate to say in the United States, but it is true. It's not true in third world countries or in a lot of Europe, whereas women who are older have much higher position in society.
They have a role. They have a role to play. Yeah.
Right. So that's a myth, that we don't matter and that we aren't seen. We do get seen. As I said, people make a judgment about us in the first 7 minutes. And this is the thing, is that if you feel that you're not seen, then you can go out of the house wearing whatever you want, looking whatever way you want. And heck, if that's what you want to do, feel free. But again, it's a sort of feedback loop. I personally think we owe it to younger generations to show up and to show through how we express ourselves inside and outside that we have something to offer. And so the myth that we're not seen is part of what keeps us back from contributing to the growth not only of ourselves but to our community. If you see an older woman who looks really engaged and live, you think, oh, I have something to aspire to. Yeah. So that's a really dangerous myth, is to think that we don't matter and we're not seen, because we are seen. And our matter is that we are offering something to educate and elevate other people.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And I think a second thing associated with that is that we don't actually have any wisdom to share. I mean, that we, for example, young people are more concerned, I've discovered, about aging and, just what they're going to do when they're older women. And they see us as an example of what's possible. When you're in your 50s and 60s, if you show up, like you say, and you don't buy into those, the challenges that we face just as part of our physical, shift, that we then can be a motivation and a reassurance to young women that aging can be just beautiful and enriching and exciting. So I think that we've got lots to offer.
It's absolutely true. And I have to say, most of the younger women that I talk with and engage with, it's almost shocking to me how, and I don't use this word lightly, how terrified they are of getting older, because they have bought into the commercial idea of what aging means. Yes. And so I think we're going through a phase now. It's like a lot of older women are saying, look at me, I can be this. And maybe we'll let go of that intensity a little bit and say, I'm fabulous. And that's what people want to aspire toward.
I agree. And also to say, I'm flawed. You know, I'm not perfect. I mean, we are all on this journey, you know, like it's like Ram Dass says about we're all just walking each other home. I mean, it's a powerful statement, but we are all just on the same journey. We all face the same doubts and the same uncertainty, and at the same time, resilience and, you know, all those wonderful skills we've learned over our 60-some years.
And don't you find that there's some liberation in the concept of, I don't have to be perfect.
Yes, I do.
It'll be wonderful.
So let's be perfectly imperfect. And thank you so much for that conversation. I think it's a wonderful place to start. I'm really glad we talked about the challenges and really as they morph into opportunities. And I encourage people to check out your website. It's called shoppingfortherealyou.com. We'll put a little note down under the video. But go check it out. And the book is very, very interesting. It gives you practical advice and lots of pictures. And there's a new one coming, I understand, too.
Right. And a lot of it is geared toward older women. So I think they're going to get a lot out of it.
Great. Thank you so much, Andrea, for being with us. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, Margaret.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our 60andMe YouTube channel and also visit our website. We are a strong and dynamic community of women over 60. We're challenging aging stereotypes, and every day we share fascinating stories, interesting questions, and great conversation.